All right, guys. We have some new polls. We have some new observations to be made, some new revelations and ideas. We had the debate. It's still probably too soon to tell what the full impact of that would be, but we've already seen a little bit of an inkling. If you zoom in to sort of the pre-debate environment and fast forward 2 days or 3 days into the post-debate environment, you see the tiniest of bumps beginning. Is this the beginning of a greater momentum change, or is it just a blip that will revert back to this norm? The main idea or an interesting point here is how it's, some of the ideas about how certain things will impact the race are actually becoming or sort of holding to be pretty accurate. So, for example, going back to when Harris was just taking over, or when Biden had dropped out and we had a new race, a lot of people, myself included, were predicting that that would be a better situation for Democrats, that they would be able to take the lead, they'd be able to gain momentum, and that did in fact happen. It wasn't instant, but Harris did launch her campaign and slowly and steadily began to build a lead that peaked at around 2.83%. Then there was, of course, the Kennedy. Oh, it even went up to almost 4% on average. Then we had the infamous Kennedy dropping out and endorsing Donald Trump, RFK Jr. That was predicted to have about a 1%, a 0.5%, 1% swing in the direction of Trump. The Kennedy supporters, about 2/3 going to Trump and about 1/3 going to Harris. It was about how the breakdown was predicted. And if you go and look at the trend since then, Harris goes from about 3.6 and she trends down to about 2.6. Again, showing that that was a pretty accurate prediction, going from basically narrowing the race 1%. Among other things, changes in momentum were eventually going to happen. These swings happened very violently during the 2016 election with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, so that was expected. So far, we haven't seen as drastic swings, but that was a reality that's happened. Now the RFK effect has fully been baked in, and we see what that looks like. Now we look for what the debate effect will be. And so far, we have instant sort of reaction polls, and the reality is they look solidly for Kamala Harris. Before the debate, she was getting a smattering of +3s, +2s, and even, running even here, and then some +4, +3, +3. The September 11th and beyond polls, I don't know if these September 10th to 11th, September 10th, I don't know if those would include the debate or people that would have watched the debate. It's safer to say that these would from September 11th to 12th. That we have a +5 from the Reuters Ipsos. We have a +5 from Morning Consult. We have +4. I'm not sure what the breakdown is here. I assume there's something going on. I'm not able to identify that at the moment, but that would explain the slight bump. Again, we're still sort of averaging in these past polls that had happened, but if you average these out, you're looking at around 4.3 or 4.5% on average. Again, just out of those three polls in this average from 538. But again, consistent with the fact that 67 or 70 million people, if not more, tuned into the debate. And 67 or 65 to 70% of people that watched the debate said that Donald Trump looked like a fool, that Kamala Harris walked him like a dog, that people thought it was a pretty insane performance in a bad way for Donald Trump. And that would explain why the polling has shifted in this kind of a direction. I would expect a few more of these polls, some +5, +6 on the national level. Again, that is different than what is happening in the swing states, and also important being Pennsylvania, where it is neck and neck, where it's completely within the margin of error, with Harris holding a 1 percentage point lead. Still waiting on some post-debate polls from there. The last few polls seesawing back and forth between +2 Trump, +3 Harris, even again, depending on the methodology in the poll. very, very close, happening in Pennsylvania. You could also look at, let's see, Arizona, which is also going to be one of these razor thin races. I don't think we have any new polling in there. Same set of polling from September 6th to 9th. Trump with a slight lead, which is pretty consistent. Florida has been pretty heavily in Trump's favor as well. And again, still waiting for those polls. Interesting to see if the Haitian, population vote will have any impact, knowing that Trump has thoroughly pissed them off by demonizing them as he does with immigrants, and then perhaps that could end up being his demise. And then we will look as well at Michigan, also a swing state, one of the safer of the swing states, although Harris jumping out to a 3.4% on average lead, which has since narrowed, been cut in half by 1.8, Trump gaining a lot of ground. I would expect that to widen once again. Again, looking at sort of the Kennedy effect from that in that narrowing, having affected that race in such a way. So that is what it's looking like for now. We are still waiting to see how that debate will affect things as we take a look at the favorable, unfavorable. Pretty remarkable that you have someone who pretty much was just tracking the favorability of Joe Biden because she was so out of the public eye. She was so in the basement. As soon as she gets into the national stage and is able to, put on her show, she's almost at a favorable rating, which I honestly would not have predicted. But she really has done a better job of branding herself and marketing herself and just being able to, come off as a more skilled politician. And that showed in the debate as well. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your comments, like and subscribe, and we will see how that unfolds again in the next several days, how that gets baked into the data. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.